Hi, my name is Hannah, and I'm currently going to art school in Japan. And frankly, I thought it was going to be kind of a breeze to be going back to art school again. I studied art in the United States, where I'm from. So I really thought the main struggle in going to this art school would frankly be everything is in Japanese. And I thought that, I really would like to connect and work with the teachers, and that might be difficult to build. But frankly, lately, I've been just not feeling like my art is good enough, and I feel like I don't have a style. And I know style is not everything, but it's like I don't have a point of view. That's really more the bigger issue, is I don't know what I want to say or how I want to say it. So right now there is kind of like a school contest where at least that's my understanding, I always get only about, 50 to 90% of what the teacher is saying sometimes. And I really want my pieces to be shown. I already have made sketches. I have the idea in my mind. They're ready to get started, but I just can't start the painting. So today I'm going to make 3 sample paintings. So I decided to only do 2 paintings, one in acrylic gouache and one in watercolor. I'll explain more why later, but let's keep going. So first we're gonna prepare the painting surface. So first we have this, I think it's watercolor paper, or at least kind of a lighter watercolor paper. It's not super thick. And we put water on the paper and then attach it onto this wooden board and pull on it while it's wet and staple the sides. And then when it's done stapling, we dry it with an hair dryer, and it flattens out pretty well. I am not very good at it. They're like quite bad. I don't know why I seem to struggle so much with the stapler. Sorry for so much of this being out of view. I'm just going to show you a process of me struggling to make this panel. Enjoy! So you can probably see it's pretty wrinkled. It's definitely not on there flat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my hair dryer and I'm gonna blow dry it, and hopefully I got it tight enough that the paper will dry and it'll be nice and flat. So I think I did a pretty good job, but there's still some areas you can see that it's not lying flat, and I don't know if it's because it's still not totally dry. These are just test paintings, so we're gonna go with it. So now I'm measuring out the size for the paintings. I decided to make it 8 by 8 inches. I am just putting masking tape around the border. So here's the printed sketch, and we're gonna transfer it onto here. I am transferring the sketch by putting pencil on the back of the paper, and then I will tape the paper onto the panel to meet the square that I want it to be on. And then I will trace over the sketch, and the graphite from the back of the paper will transfer onto my panel. Now it's finally time to paint. So from here on, I think I will not be walking you through the process. You can just watch it sped up, because frankly, I don't really know what my process is. I still am kind of figuring it out. Instead, let's talk about confidence and trying to rebuild our confidence in our artwork. So I've been feeling like I wonder if my work is good enough to ever make it a career, and I still struggle with how I will go about doing it. I've been trying with inconsistent efforts to become a freelance illustrator since about 2020. I will admit that I haven't been very consistent with my efforts, and I haven't been pursuing really one area. I've kind of bebopped around to surface design work like patterns and greeting cards, but I never really focused on one market. And I used to toy with the idea of doing editorial work, like for magazines or books, but I thought I really wasn't clever enough for it, and I also thought that I couldn't draw people well enough. And at that time, the idea of making YouTube videos was totally not even on the radar. So in a way, I do think I have gotten a bit more confident in a lot of areas. I still haven't gotten any deals with surface design, but I have gotten some editorial work, and I haven't been doing that for very long. I just reached out to editorial companies in around September of 2023, so less than a year ago, and I cannot believe that I've learned how to edit videos and that I'm even trying to talk to the camera. So even with these improvements, with this move to Japan and going back to school with classmates that are nearly half my age, I'm just feeling really insecure about my work. I see how different their work is and frankly how skilled they are. And I just wonder if any of my life choices or artwork make any sense. If you've ever gone to an art institution in the United States, you'll know that they pretty much totally discourage anything super cutesy and anime or manga related looking. You can do Disney style, but you definitely can't do like Studio Ghibli style, right? So no cute girls that are floating with beautiful hair, no chibi little characters, no big eyes and big heads. Actually, like right now, I feel like we're in a kind of like tiny headed people editorial phase, which is kind of mysterious to me, but I digress. So basically, I don't draw like my classmates, and even though I loved anime and manga growing up, I never really made fan art. That wasn't really my deal. And I do like cute things, and I think I'm good at it, but I wonder what the longevity of that is for me, whether that will maintain my interest for a long time. So I'm unsure what's for me. I know that the Japanese style that I see my classmates doing is not for me, but I also know that the tiny heads editorial style isn't me either. So I'm still kind of struggling, like, what is me? So that's why I knew I wanted to do animals and plants for this project. I feel most confident drawing these two things, not only because I think I'm good at it, but also because I love them. And I think those things are definitely related, obviously. And I think it's okay to lean into what you love or what is easier for you, especially when you're feeling down. I felt like I would be more confident making these things, and I've been interested in doing mythical creatures for a long time, so this seemed like a good opportunity. And I am really happy with my griffin sketch, even if it does look quite a lot like a hippogriff. I'm looking forward to painting more mythical creatures too, so all in all, I think it was a good choice. I love ancient stories like origin myths, folk tales, fairy tales, and even religious tales, so that's another reason why I chose this subject matter. But the thing is, there's so many artists and illustrators that I love, and I just can't seem to narrow down like the medium and sort of the way I want to make the work. I feel like a pinball bouncing around a machine trying to try every style, very soft and watercolor, flat and graphic, bright. I just can't seem to know what I want to say. So, what do you do when you're not feeling confident in your work, whatever that might be? My advice to myself and to others would be what I'm doing, which is to lean into a couple of things that you love and that you're probably good at when you're struggling. Also, another thing I'm doing is I'm trying to take small bites of this project to practice. So I'm making these two paintings, and I'll probably make at least one more. And, I know not everybody has the time to do this, and if you don't, that's totally relatable and understandable. Regardless of your situation, I encourage you to just try to be kind to yourself and to lean into things that make you feel good and that you're good at. And I feel like sometimes that's just the best we can do, and that's okay. So I have finished my 2 tester paintings, one in acrylic gouache and one in watercolor. I'm curious which one you think is better. In my opinion, I feel a lot more confident about using acrylic gouache, and I'm reminded that it's really fun to use, and I'm pretty confident in it, and I feel pretty comfortable figuring out the stages of painting when I use acrylic gouache. I really enjoy this color palette a lot, and I liked the earlier stages of the watercolor before I got too much detail in, and I would like to practice more with it. But going forward, I definitely think I'm going to use acrylic gouache with the final painting. But like I said, this color palette I think is so dreamy. But before I go forward and make a 3rd test painting, because I'm thinking of making a 3rd test painting in acrylic gouache with this color palette, I kind of want to let the ideas percolate and settle in my mind a little bit. And I might talk to the teacher and sort of get her opinion. But I think more importantly, I want to have more confidence in myself and what I think. And I definitely think acrylic gouache is better. And since I'm making multiple mythical animals, one of the ones I have a sketch for is a unicorn. I think she is very beautiful. And I think this color palette would actually be very suitable to the unicorn more than the griffin. So I'm actually feeling a lot better about this project. I think I've at least taken one step forward, even though it was maybe not necessary work. It was work that felt necessary to me. And I think that's what's important, is like, you don't have to be like everybody else. Some people just jump in intuitively and build as they go. And maybe I'm just sometimes a little bit more of a technician and I want to get everything sort of settled beforehand. And that's okay. And I'm not always that way either. Sometimes I just go for it, but I feel a lot better. And I think they're pretty. And it was the first time I used the whole bin watercolor that I got for school, and it was beautiful. I loved it. And so it's really kind of inspiring me to experiment more with this watercolor that I have. So all in all, I think it was a really successful experiment. So I'm curious, do you ever have trouble finding confidence in your art or feeling like you're making bad art? And what do you do to overcome it? I think what a lot of us do is just sort of maybe avoid it, but that can kind of like build. And so that's why I've gotten more in a just do it headspace, even if it's not the big thing. I do the little things, I make samples, I make little color, and you can get an analysis paralysis a little bit with that as well, so that should be avoided. But I just think it's really important to find your own way, and my own way is to overwork the shit out of it. So please comment below, what do you do when you're feeling not confident, or if you have a certain project in mind but you don't know how to start? You really are excited about it, but you feel a little bit like maybe your skills are not there yet, or it won't come out the way that you want. Do you just give up on that project, or do you find ways to slowly build so that way you can try tackling it? Even if it doesn't look exactly like you have in your mind's eye, I think nobody else knows what you had in your mind's eye, only you do. So to other people it looks amazing, and I think it's okay for you to accept that it looks amazing too. So please comment below, which color did you like better? Did you like the watercolor, the gouache? Which, style do you think is nicer? And please, I just want to hear from you. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Bye.